So you have been thinking of moving to Cambridge, Ontario, and you're trying to figure out how much it actually costs to live here in Cambridge. That's what this video is about. Today we are going to dive into all the components that make up for a household budget, and we're going to look at things like mortgage payments, rents, utilities, groceries, dining, entertainment, insurance, all the things, all the components, pieces of the puzzle that make up for a household budget to live here in Cambridge, Ontario. So stick around as we get right into it. Hello and welcome. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Kitchener, Cambridge and Waterloo, then subscribe below and tap on that bell for notification so you can be the first to learn about the current market in and around Kitchener. My name is Dixit. I'm a local real estate agent serving Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo and surrounding towns. I do get calls, texts, emails from people just like you pretty much every single day while looking for help in making their move to Kitchener and surrounding towns, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're thinking of moving in 9 days or 90 days, be sure to reach out. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or you can even schedule a Zoom call. All the info right below in the description. I'll be more than happy to help you make a smooth move in and around Kitchener. Right, so first up, we're gonna start with one of the major expenses that make up part of any household budget, and that's gonna be your housing and shelter. Whether you own or rent, we're gonna look at both those scenarios, and I'm actually gonna share some of the data that I've pulled up from the Canadian Real Estate Association to give you guys some perspective that we have considered in this calculation. So as of October 2023, as per the Canadian Real Estate Association, an average cost of an apartment building unit here in Cambridge, Ontario was $499,000. This is, you're looking at one bedroom apartment. If you were to buy a townhouse for the same period, an average cost of such house was $670,000, whereas the detached home for the same period would cost you on an average $779,000. Now, I've actually punched these numbers into the mortgage payment calculator for the RBC Royal Bank, and some of the assumptions I've made is assuming the interest rate of 6.5%, assuming that you are making a 20% down payment, which will then allow you to go up to 30 years of amortization, which is basically the time of, the period you have to pay off your mortgage. So assuming those three things in place, an average monthly payment per month for an apartment purchase would be just around $2,500 per month. An average mortgage payment for a townhome purchase would be $3,357 per month. And if you were to go for a detached home, for the average price, your mortgage payment will be just around $3,900 per month. Now, let's look at the rental scenario. As per the rent research website, it's called Zumper.com. I've actually included the link below in the description for your reference if you want to check it out. But an average cost for a one-bedroom apartment as of November 2023 was $1,900 per month here in Cambridge. An average cost for a two-bedroom apartment was just over $2,358 per month. An average cost for a three-bedroom apartment for the same period would cost you around $2,600 per month, $2,595 to be exact. Now, keep in mind, if you were to plan on going for a three-bedroom apartment, you might as well consider some options as for the townhomes. Those $2,700 will definitely get you that if you're planning on renting a place, but that's just a food for thought. Now, this are just some basic idea to give you an average price point and how much it will cost you in terms of your housing and shelter, such as mortgage or rent. If you have like a particular property in mind and you want to dive into a particular scenario, I've actually included the link below to the RBC mortgage payment calculator, which you can actually use it to your benefit. You can punch in your own numbers, whether you're getting a better interest rate or you're making a less down payment, whatever that situation may be. Feel free to dive right in and find out how much your monthly mortgage payment will be. Next up, we have utilities. That does go hand in hand. Whether you plan on buying a place or you plan on renting a place, you're gonna have to pay the utilities. And we're gonna look at things like heat, hydro, water, and property tax if you do plan on buying a place. So I'll give you some averages comprising of a household with 4 individuals, 2 adults and 2 kids. You're looking at on an average for heat around $70 to $80 per month. In terms of hydro, again, you're looking at that same $70 to $80 per month. But here's the thing, when I say these averages, it's important to remember that during the winter months, when your furnace is working hard to keep you, warm and cozy, it's gonna spike up your bill for the natural gas, which we call heat. And during the summer months, to keep you comfortable and cool, your AC is gonna work harder, so your hydro bill is gonna spike up. So you might see it going, upwards of $100 during those peak winter and summer months. But like I said, the average, if you were to budget yourself, you can easily say comfortably $70 to $80 for an average household, as I mentioned. In terms of water, you're looking at about $30 per person in terms of consumption, because whether you have kids or adults, the water consumption, depending on the number of people in the household, could vary a bit. So we always say $30 per person. If you were to call the city, that's what the average you will get from them. Now, here comes the property tax. Is a little bit tricky to kind of, factor that in. But, an average for a townhome with not so big of a lot size, you're looking at about $200 to $250, somewhere in between. And a semi or a detached, it could vary well over between $300 and $500 per month. The good part here is when it comes to the property tax or a condo fee, whatever house that you're looking at in the MLS or whatever that public information you're looking at, property taxes and the condo fees are the information that will be available to you. So you will be able to easily budget yourself for those expenses. Now let's look at the cost of getting you around the town once you have moved here. What I'm referring to is the transportation. Whether you're going to rely on your own car, which is recommended because Cambridge is primarily a car-friendly town, but we'll also briefly look at the cost of public transit if you were going to rely on public transit. So, and like I said, we are going to primarily focus on variable cost. Things like gas or your car loan is not going to vary drastically. Gas is consumption based, while the car loan is going to stay where it is, whether you move here or somewhere else. But one thing that will change is your car insurance. So in case you are curious, an average cost, according to one of the websites, which is an online insurance brokerage called mychoice.ca, I've included the link below. An average cost in 2022 for someone with a clean driving record, auto insurance in Cambridge will cost you just under $1,300 per month. And if you were to rely on public transit, which we have Grand River Transit here, that covers Tri-Cities, we call it, Cambridge, Kitchener, and Waldo, single ride ticket will cost you $3.75, while the bus pass, which is monthly bus pass, will cost you $92 per month. Now, I would suggest to take these insurance numbers with a grain of salt because, based on your driving record, the car you drive, the kind of coverage you're looking for, this cost could vary quite a bit. So these are the average numbers to give you some perspective as to how much it will cost you. But what I can tell you is if you're especially moving from one of the greater Toronto area suburbs or Toronto for that matter, you will definitely see some, your insurance costs drop quite a bit by moving in Cambridge. So that's something you can budget for. But like I said, it will vary quite a bit depending on your specific circumstances and your requirements in terms of your car insurance. Now, looking at the food cost in terms of your grocery and if you plan on dining out, let's look at both of that. So in terms of grocery, we'll look at discount grocers and then we have some premium grocers. Like discount grocers, we are referring to things like No Frills, Food Basics, Walmart, places like that. Premium grocers, we are looking at places like Sobeys, Metro, Longo's, Loblaws, places like that. Now, if you were to shop at a discount grocer, an average you can budget for about $150 per person per month would be an average cost for a grocery. Things are quite expensive nowadays, so that's what you can budget for. In terms of the premium grocers, that could definitely increase quite a bit to like $200 to $250 per person. But again, these numbers could vary based on what you buy. If you buy a lot of meat, well, that's going to cost you more versus if you buy more of like, produce and stuff like that, fruits and vegetables, that's going to cost you far less. So, if you were to look at your credit card bill, it will tell you how much it actually is going to costing you on an average per month for your groceries. But what I can tell you, it's not going to vary quite significantly compared to a bag of milk in Toronto versus Cambridge. It's going to be more or less the same, all the essentials especially. Now, talking about the dining. So we're going to look at like takeout, casual dine, and then fine dine options and how much it will actually cost you. So if you had to do, go for a takeout one of the weekday evenings at like a shawarma or a burrito, like, combo, typical combo that we get at one of these quick serve restaurants, it's going to cost you about $15 to $20 per person here in Cambridge, and you will have quite a few options actually. But if you were to go for rather casual dining, where you have like 3-course meal, basically appetizers, your entrees, and then a small dessert to treat yourself, you're gonna look at about $40 to $60 per person at a casual dining restaurant like a Beer Town, for example, which is pretty famous, worth checking out here. If you were to rather go for all-in for a fine dining restaurant experience, well, a place like Black Shop or where is Cambridge Mill, which is right by the Grand River, you have a beautiful view. At a fine dining restaurant, you're looking at about $80 to $120 per person, depending on what you order, along with the drinks, I would say. That's how much you're budgeting yourself for to dine in and treat yourself at a fine dining restaurant. So these are some average cost for both dining and the grocery. Finally, let's look at the cost of keeping you entertained once you have moved here in Cambridge, Ontario. Well, we're gonna primarily look at things that actually cost you. I mean, you can definitely spend some time in nature along the banks of Grand River. There are lots of hiking and biking trails, picnic areas in those summer days, lots of parks. That's gonna cost you virtually nothing. But we're also gonna look at things like the Cambridge has a good butterfly conservatory. We have a bowling alley, things like movie night, treating yourself to an escape room with a group of friends. Those are the things which is gonna cost you average about $50 per person. Let's say we have big events here, which is not actually in Cambridge, but right off Highway 8 in Kitchener, which is like a multi-activity recreation center, things to do for people with all ages. They have a bowling alley. Let's say if you were to hit it up and order a bunch of appetizers and drinks, it's gonna cost you about $50 per person to really have yourself a great time and have a bowling night. So that's what you're looking at. But what I'm trying to say is it's not going to vary or quite significantly in comparison to what you spend right now where you live. And the other tip I can give you is you can look at your credit card or bank statement for last 6 months, and that will tell you how much you and your family actually spend on an average on entertainment. What I can tell you, it's not going to vary much from you moving here from that place where you are right now. So it's going to be more or less the same. So that's a bit about the entertainment and recreation. So there you have it, the cost of living here in Cambridge, Ontario. All the resources that I've used here, I've actually shared the links to those resources right below in the description so you can use it at your disposal. After all, based on your family situation and your household requirements, these budget numbers could vary quite a bit. So that's why feel free to use those links and dive right into it yourself to see how much it will cost you and your family to live here in Cambridge, Ontario. But nonetheless, I hope you do have some perspective now as to how much you are budgeting yourself for comfortable living here in Cambridge. I hope you did get some value. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and tap on that bell for notification so you can be the first to learn about the current market in and around Kitchener. Once again, whether you're thinking of moving in 9 days or 9 days, be sure to reach out. All the info right below in the description. I'll be more than happy to help you make a smooth move to Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo, and surrounding towns. Until next time, well, I do hope to show you around town.